I keep trying to tell
But
Drazz to give me a picture of him, like, in a suit or something, or nice clothing posing, so it's just me in the, news sting.
oh,
Uh,
that would be so nice.
yeah.
Yeah, like put like behind like a little desk and stuff. Hold some paper in front of him.
To be completely fair, to be completely fair, I could actually use, like, a picture of you this time around. Because your normal picture on Twitter is just you with the hat.
Yep, I go everywhere with the hat. So yeah, I do not leave the house without that particular hat.
So you feel
So
let me. It's like how I felt without my watch because I left it behind. You felt naked without it.
yeah, yeah, I have like a usual routine. I've got one ring, my hat, and one bracelet. That's it. That's all I leave the house with.
Well, plus your phone, but
Well, not really even that. I don't really have a reason to keep it on me.
that's fair. All right.
Oh, and my bicycle chain. I forgot about that. I have a bicycle chain necklace that I use.
Oh, like an actual bike chain, or
I think so. It was like converted into a necklace.
oh, okay, that explains. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Green 18. Green 19.
Fournette, the running back. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Brady to throw. Throws a deep pass downfield. Got Scotty Miller in the open. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Rodgers fires quickly. End zone is caught for the touchdown by Allen Lazard.
Just drive again back at the 21. Dropping. 3-step drop. Goes on the end zone. Caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Mike Evans reaches up with one hand.
Rodgers spins to his left. Comes underneath, and the pass is incomplete, out of bounds. Now they say complete. 3rd and 1. Rodgers play action. Looks to the end zone. Rainbow's Jordy Nelson. He's got it. Touchdown!
To the 11-yard line. There's the snap. Mahomes running to his right. Look out. He may run. Mahomes directly. No, toward the end down. Battle intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. Bucks are going to beat the Chiefs.
But enough about our
Well, anyway,
enough about our bullshit with our past lives as
enough about
terrible
us being
football players.
losers.
What is up, guys? I am back, and welcome to episode 9 of Battle for the Bay podcast. And as you probably heard from that giggle, Drazz is not with us today. He had a neck procedure today. He's doing fine. He's doing well. So, to fill in for his place for this week, I have brought a familiar face for the channel, the one, the only, my lovely editor and co-op partner, Joy.
Familiar voice at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if people follow you on Twitter, they know the face, but either way.
They do. I wouldn't recommend, but still.
I can't laugh at that. Oh.
Oh no, it's fine. You can laugh at it. Self-deprecating humor is kind of my thing.
Well, I know, like, and I would respond back saying, "Oh no, you're not." Didn't make me sound like I'm trying to advance, and I don't want to do that.
It's fine. Anyways, scooching on over.
Today we got the usual. We were going to talk some NFL stuff. I have Drazz's Pick-ems with me, and also Joy can give her 2 cents about games we go over. We got our usual news and our usual news reactions, so let us jump right on in to our Pick-ems. I went a mighty 12-4 last week, and Drazz, to his great misfortune, he ended up going 7-9 last week.
Yeah, honestly, for people on this side of things who might not know, Drazz and SDS are in a Pick'ems kind of versus league with me and a bunch of others. Drazz can totally go 7-9 again, and I will be totally fine with that because he kicked our butts for the first 2 weeks.
So the man had magical powers to figure out, okay, what team does what.
So what I have is your overall is 30-18. and Drazz is 29-19. So
you heard it here
took the lead
first,
on
ladies
him.
and gentlemen. All right, so I jumped a game ahead of Drazz. Who would have seen that happening?
Yeah.
That
Again, like I
Carolina
was
game
saying,
really
Drazz,
saved me.
it really did, yeah.
The
It
one
was
time I want the Carolina Panthers to do good, and they had delivered.
Yeah.
Actually, in the
That was a
Vikings, the
very good
teams I
pick.
usually don't like deliver this week.
Yeah, imagine that. You
The
typically
Carolina
go
Panthers
against them.
delivered. The Vikings delivered. They did exactly what I hoped.
Yeah, they did.
Like, I don't have any real like. What happened 2 years ago with Skull Frauds? Like, I felt like I was justified with it, but now they're a completely different team. So
They are completely different. So I think your main problem isn't so much
it's not because they were
Minnesota.
It's not because they were the Vikings. You know, I leaned on that as an excuse to try and justify something else. But
Right. But like I feel like
I,
also part of it was Kirk.
yeah,
You
no, I
really
can't.
seem to have an issue with
I
Kirk
cannot
Cousins.
stand Kirk Cousins. Like, he gives off the cringe dad energy, but worse than Russell
He's
Wilson.
definitely
Like,
I don't know,
especially
'cause,
that
like,
video that came out with him dancing with the change after the comeback against Indy, who they should have beaten handily.
I will agree with that much at least. The fact that they didn't like dominate Indy kind of bothered me way back then.
And they did that throughout the
I
entire year against inferior opponents. Like, that's what bothered me that year. But
Right, yeah. Which I mean for me, I kind of like I fall more on the good teams find a way to win. Maybe that's just because I've been experiencing that with Detroit for the last I don't know, 30 years. But you find a way to win in tough situations, in situations you shouldn't be in the first place. You have to find a way of overcoming that.
this is true.
But
I realized it did
yeah.
not change the background this year or for this week, but I think that doesn't matter. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield juking out Eric Rodriguez than what happened last week.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. Well, let's not highlight last week for you. That was rough.
I gotta highlight it
was-
twice. I gotta do Pick-ems, and then I gotta look at the box score.
I mean, fair, but we'll make it quick and painless. I'm definitely
Quick
not
and
going to
painless.
harp on it tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, but
I'll be nice to you on your own show.
all right, but anyways, I went 30. I'm now overall 30-18. Drazz is 29-19. I gained a game, and it's time to break down. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys my Pick-ems and Drazz's Pick-ems, and Joy will give her 2 cents if she so chooses.
Yeah, sure. I have all of mine, so I can be a kind of a third wheel on the pick'ems this week if you want me to.
I think what I'll do, I'll say Drazz's pick first, and then I'll do mine.
All right.
So starting week 1, we have the Giants and the Cowboys. Drazz decided to pick the Cowboys for, quote, historically bad Cowboys run defense. He also went on in our DM stating that he thinks Micah Parsons is the most overrated defender in the NFL, and he doesn't think TJ Watt's that anymore.
Oof.
So he took the pick that I kind of wanted to take, but at the same time, do I really trust Daniel Jones to win this game? He did pretty good against the Browns, who are, well, the Browns.
Right.
I think I'll lean on the side of caution, and I'll take the Cowboys this game. If they lose, it'll be another. That didn't scare the shit out of me at all.
I was gonna say what just happened? It sounded like everything died for a second. What?
It was an EAS. The thing
Oh my god.
that
Yeah,
scared
I
the
hate
absolute
those.
shit out of me.
Those are the worst when they just come out of absolutely nowhere. Like it's a clear day outside and all of a sudden it's
My
like,
heart
what?
stopped for a second. I was like, oh.
I
All right.
heard it.
That-
I heard you disappear.
That's shorts material.
STS dies on stream. Jeez.
All right, anyways, but after that, I'm going to lean on the side of caution, and I'm going to take... Interesting clouds outside. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I don't trust Danny Dimes. But it'll be the best thing ever if he wins, and I see another face on, just checking to see if y'all them boys for the next week in a row.
Yes. One of my favorite running Twitter gags is just checking to see if you still them boys.
And it's like every quarterback who's beaten them, playoffs included.
For that particular season, I love it. I'm in agreement with you on this one, just because, again, erring on the side of caution, and I can't really be too risky considering where my current standing is on my pick'em thing. So I'm in agreement.
I am sorry, Joy, if I'm looking out my window right now. Holy shit! I can see why they called it.
Yeah, are you getting an outbreak moment? Live? We were just talking about that.
Hold on,
what's going on? Are you good?
I'll take a picture of this, and I'll edit, and I'll send it to you. But I'm not going to stop recording, I'm not going to stop recording.
Right, yeah.
It's just
Well, I mean, if something touches down, we stop. But
it's not going to be that severe.
Then,
It's just a spooky cloud and a lot of rain.
I love spooky clouds.
But with that out of the way, we got through. That was the most interruptions I had for one pick so far.
You know what that is? That's an omen. Something horrible is going to happen in this game.
Nope. Nope. Well, if it's something horrible, I hope it's the Cowboys getting blown out.
That's what I'm afraid of. Because this is such a clear and obvious upset pick, and I can't make myself be risky.
Yeah, I took a risk last week with Carolina, and it worked. I don't think I have that luck twice a week.
Right, yeah.
All right, next game. We have the Bengals at the Panthers. Another obvious upset game because it is within the 4 weeks of the year where the Bengals suck for no reason.
That is such a stupid stat. I'm so mad. For multiple reasons.
I think the stat is Zach Taylor is like 1-7, now 1-8 in the first 4 weeks of the season since he took over Cincy.
Yeah. When I was doing it for week 1, he was 1-11 in the first 2 weeks.
1-12
and
now.
That has since, it has since fallen. So, good job.
Well, Drazz took the Bengals to beat the Panthers. He almost chose the Panthers here, but he did not want to overreact to Andy Dalton. I want to overreact to Andy Dalton because I have a soft spot for him despite his temporary Saints loyalty. But,
yeah,
I have that soft spot for him. I like him, but I don't think he wins this game against Cincy. I think they're going to go out here with something to prove and beat the crap out of the Cardinals. Beat the crap out of the Panthers.
Cardinals. That was our job last week.
Well, you didn't beat the crap out of them, but you won. We'll get to that later.
You know what? A win's a win. I'm taking it. Either way we can get it. I'm also going to take the Bengals, but I think that this is kind of, ESA worthy alert of upset coming in.
Running gags. We love them.
I do think that I would not be surprised at all if Andy Dalton... Didn't he play for Cincy at one point?
He did play... Oh, shit. You're right.
Yeah. So wouldn't this be...
This would be a revenge. This would be a revenge game for him.
I mean, kind of, because he was released out of Cincinnati when he didn't really need to be, in my opinion, at that time. So it has potential to be one of those, but at the same time, so many years have passed. I don't think it's really revenge worthy.
That is so tempting.
I know. Like, I almost want to change it, but I've penned in Cincinnati as well.
I gotta go with Cincinnati. There's no way they start out the season 0-4 and then there's no way.
Well, here's the thing. They would have to go on a Cincinnati-style run again to have any kind of hope to getting into the playoffs. And I think the AFC is so packed with potential talent. I don't see them doing that. If they start 0-4, they're missing the playoffs. So
Yeah, that's how it usually tends to go, and it'll be just a weird season. This is kind
yeah,
of what Joe Burrow gets for trying to cosplay Eminem.
or Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh God, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, I know, me neither. I seen that this morning because like it's stupid too because I was like, you know what? I really like this look.
And unlike
Then someone
Ellen, he
compared me
does
to Ellen.
not. Unlike Ellen, he does not mistreat his employees or teammates.
Right,
I should
yeah,
have
the exact
stopped
opposite.
myself. I should have stopped
No,
myself.
no, you're fine. I'm with you on that because like she was, wow, the things that came out of her
Yeah.
or came out, about her were just hurtful as somebody who enjoyed her for a while. But
Yeah.
anyway, off topic.
Off topic.
Um,
Next
yeah,
game.
Burrow corrals Chase,
Oh.
and they
Yeah, but the next game. This is just as painful.
okay.
Saints and the Falcons. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one because I have a special place in the pit of my fiery heart for Atlanta, and I'm just gonna let you ride with this one
Yeah.
because I
Okay.
can't.
So. Yeah, I gotcha. All right. First things first. Drazz has the Falcons beating the Saints. Such a tough pick'em, but I like what the Falcons showed me against KC. I'm going to go with Atlanta because them beating the Saints means that if we somehow beat the Eagles this week, we're back on top of the division. So this is just a
So this
pure
is a hope,
division. This is just a pure division pick.
right? That's fair. I I'm going with the Saints because frick the Falcons and all of their anxiety-ridden games. I cannot with them.
Like either way, I get to see either my literal most hated team in the NFL bite it, or I get to see Kirk Cringe get mauled on national TV.
Right. So like honestly, it's a win-win lose-lose regardless.
Yeah, it's win-win,
For the both of
lose-lose.
us. Exactly.
You are completely
What if
correct.
they tie? What if they tie? That'd be good, right?
It would be good because then we win and then we surely have it.
Exactly.
If they tie, it'll be the funniest thing on earth. If it's a tie, I hope it's 0-0 or like field goal numbers.
Yeah, I would love for both of them to just field goal it up. It's been
Vanish.
proven you can win with just field goals.
Just
So
ask the Steelers, who Atlanta
yeah.
played already.
I
I felt your
hate
soul
that
die.
game. Well, yes, because I didn't trust in Watt, and in Watt we trust is kind of one of my slogans, and I didn't do it. So I'm mad.
I gotcha. All right. Jaguars and Texans. All right. Oh, God. The AFC South as a whole has been the most disappointing division to me. I had so much hope for the Colts, Titans, and Jags this year, and they flopped miserably so far.
Tell me about it.
Ugh.
On Tennessee's front for me is where my disappointment lies.
Like, I didn't have the Titans doing anything special. Like, I had them like starting off terrible and then having a renaissance and finishing the season at least 9-8 and maybe making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what I had them, and I had the Colts actually winning the division this year. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the Colts are kind of putting some good things together. They just need to
They are,
try
but
to
Anthony
minimize
Richardson
Richardson's mistakes.
Anthony Richardson, I fear, is becoming a mixture of Brett Favre and Jameis Winston.
A turnover factory?
A turnover factory. You are quite correct.
Yeah. Well, I remember hating on Favre during my heyday. So,
You're hated.
oh, please tell me you have heard that term before.
No, I know what heyday means.
Okay, thank
No,
God.
I
Well,
had to
here's
think
the
about
thing.
that because in my head I keep forgetting that you're around my big sister's age. Like I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
viewers at home, I am old.
well,
So,
you're not old.
comparatively speaking.
Comparatively speaking, yes, but you're not until you eclipse 35. You're not old. At
So
that
I
point,
got 3 years. Cool. I am going to hold on to my youth for the next 3 years.
Sorry.
Got it. No, you're good. It's just, there's a ticking clock. It's fine. We all have one.
Yeah.
But
Lifestyle status is pending for that. Anyways, Drazz took the Texans. My hope the Jags would be a contender. Up in smoke. Garbage team.
yeah.
As much as I hate the Texans, CJ Stroud, it's only because of you. For a multitude of reasons, despite Ohio State. They are going to win this pre-handedly. And again, I will not regret having this pick 'em go against me at all. If the Jags win, it'll be funny. And I'm here for funny.
True. I'm taking the Texans as well just because I can't see them being embarrassed 2 weeks in a row. And I think this is going to be a really good bounce back.
But so you also got to note that they're coming off Monday Night Football, so they have one less game of rest or day of rest.
The Jags, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Broncos, Jets. All right.
My urge.
I am glad I am not doing this on your channel. Fuck you, Sean Payton. I hate you. I hope if I meet you one day, I'm going to punch you square in your duck-lipped mouth, and I'll gladly go to jail for it. A punch is a great short-term answer that is satisfactory. All right, with that over with, I actually got to be serious here.
Yeah.
So we got them going against the Jets. I am sorry, Joy. I know you hate Aaron Rodgers, but he did play well last week. He played very well.
He did. I am incredibly disappointed in New England for not showing up at all when the first 2 weeks they tricked me. They did. They totally trolled me, thinking that they were going to be something. And then what's the running back? Stevenson?
Ramondre Stevenson. He was an OU running back, and I love him to death.
Yeah, he was great the first 2 weeks. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Cool. We've seen that the Jets defense is not all that it's cracked up to be. I still think that they're overhyped. But let's do this. No, 3 points. Okay, cool.
Well, I mean, I like Sauce Gardner. I like Sauce Gardner. I like Emmanuel Mosley. I think they got to. Wait, no, he's the tackle I'm thinking of is on the Seahawks now.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I like what the Jets are doing. Rodgers aside for your sake, but I gotta choose the Jets here. The Broncos, what happened last week, your normal trap game. I don't think
I will agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll work out magic twice in a row. Bo Nix is going to go right back to what he was for the first couple of weeks. I hope.
I do agree that I think that it was definitely a trap game for you guys, which is kind of, in a small way, why I'm a little upset that I didn't think about that and pull off the upset ahead of time. Because I should have known better. But I'm taking the Jets as well, just because, again, I have to be smart. As much as I would love for Bo Nix to get another win and kind of, beat Aaron Rodgers, that'd make me happy. I have to be smart, so.
All right. That's completely fair. All right. Our first NFC North divisional game, I think. Vikings at Packers. All right. Interesting here. Drazz says, Vikings to beat the Packers, but with a note. Love is limited at practice. A healthy Love means a win for Green Bay. But looking at it, I think it's a loss. Sam Darnold is a god.
But isn't Sam Darnold questionable?
Maybe. I'll check on that. It's something. He had a knee injury, and MRI said nothing happened.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So he's questionable, but who's the Vikings backup, just in case?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
They still don't have Josh Dobbs, like, do they?
I don't think so. I thought it was like Rippin, but I think he went somewhere else.
Nick Mullins, I remember now. I saw Nick Mullins in that game.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, hey, he wasn't horrible.
He was terrible. I'm sorry, Joy,
Not in
but
my
he
game.
was terrible.
Not in my game. I remember him winning for San Francisco once, though, didn't he?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about, like, Vikings Nick Mullins. Like, Vikings Nick Mullins was terrible.
Right, without all of the weapons, sans Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah. Even with Justin Jefferson, like, they were terrible.
But that's fair. I think they have a better run game now, though.
But I'm going to assume here that Sam Darnold is healthy. He'll be good to
Mhm.
go. And Love isn't. The Vikings,
Right.
surprisingly, just like everybody predicted at the beginning of the season, are starting 4-0.
I'm really stunned at how well they're doing. And as a Lions fan, I'm kind of
Like, I'm completely
scared.
fine with it because they're, like, spiting everybody that said, "Oh, JJ McCarthy's now hurt. It's over." Like, I like spite.
Fair. I am a big fan of Spite as well. And with that in mind, FTP, I'm taking the Vikings. Sorry, not sorry, Drazz, for the FTP comment, but you know how it goes.
FTP. Why am
F the Packers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It took me an embarrassing long time to figure that out.
Well, 'cause, I mean, you're not used to me using F, so
I'm
it's
not
fair.
at all. Nobody is, to be completely fair.
Fair.
All right, Steelers at the Colts. This is probably the flukiest 3-0 team I've seen. Minus what happened in 2021 with the Vikings. Or 2022, rather. They've skated by kicking field goals for the most part. Justin Fields accounts for only 2 touchdowns. The rest of those points have been on Chris Boswell, who's probably going to be an all-pro at the end of the year.
Probably. I will say, though, like, seeing Justin Fields kind of become a little bit more comfortable now is nice. I know you don't like him, and I didn't like him when he was on the Bears, but he's gone now. So I can kind of respect his growth.
He's an Ohio State product. How can he succeed?
Because Stroud's doing it too?
Oh, one quarterback in the past 50 years of Ohio State history.
But I'm just saying, I don't have an ill will towards Ohio State like other people from Michigan do. I don't really follow that or care. I see talent and I respect growth when I can see it happening. And so I'm not like excited for Justin Fields because, again, I think that he's Lamar Jackson light. But I do like seeing a little bit of growth out of him. So I'm kind of interested in how he's going to do the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Assuming he stays the starter.
Yeah. Drazz has no reasoning. He just picked the Steelers to beat the Colts, and that's not hard to argue against because the Steelers' defense is amazing. But how much longer will it be until that seam busts? Anthony Richardson with Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman is a lot better, in my opinion, than Justin Herbert with Ladd McConkey and whatever the guy from TCU was they picked.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, the Chargers' offense is
and also Anthony Richardson can run. Sorry, but that's also something that Justin Herbert can't really do, or he's not used to doing.
Right, like he's able to, but he's more typically a pocket passer. So, I don't know. I think the game's going to be really, really close. And another one of those what is happening games for me to watch. Back-to-back weeks for the Colts having those.
Yeah. Well, they beat the Bears. I'm completely fine with that. It made Caleb Williams still looked like an idiot. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm glad he finally got his first touchdown, though, so we can just kind of put that to rest. So, good for him. And I'm glad that Odunze got the ball instead. So.
But I'm going to go with Indy here. Complete spite on my regard as far as Justin Fields is concerned. But I think it'll be rather low scoring. It'll be one with an Anthony Richardson put the shoulder down and get through the end zone.
Yeah, I agree that it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm just on the other side of it, and I think it'll be because TJ Watt wrecks faces.
Fair. All right, next game. Rams at Bears. Oh, don't you love what this game has in store, Joy?
No, no, I don't.
All right, well, Drazz put it simply, the Rams beat the Bears. I'm inclined to agree. As banged up as San Francisco is, they've still done relatively well. So I think
San Francisco?
Huh?
You said as banged up as San Francisco is.
Yeah, as banged up as they
Oh.
were, the Rams still beat them.
Never mind.
Like,
Never
and they
mind.
still
I
had
got
good
it.
players, like, on the field.
Right.
Like we saw what happened with dang, what was the wide receiver? Why am I blanking on his name? I know the number. It's 17. Not Juwan. Is it Juwan Jennings?
Oh, probably. I've been seeing a lot of memes on him. Everybody's like, "Yay, we have Brandon Ayuk." Jennings, are you sure about that?
Yeah, Juwan Jennings. Yeah, there we go. He threw 3 touchdowns to Brandon. He threw 3. Brock Purdy threw 3 touchdowns to Juwan Jennings. So they've proven that, well, A, Brock Purdy can work with anybody, and B, the depth of the wide receiver room in San Francisco is no slouch.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the Rams got a comeback against this. So
yeah, that was very, very impressive, I will say.
Standard MO for Stafford.
Yeah.
I think the Rams handle the Bears handedly. It won't be a blowout, but because they'll be ahead by like 20 points, and then the Bears get a touchdown on a 2-point conversion to make the score not look as bad.
Yeah, I think it'll look closer than it actually is on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Rams as well, because Stafford over Bears any day.
Yeah. All right, Eagles Bucks. Oh God.
Mm.
Well, first things first, Drazz chose the Eagles because we suck without Vea, apparently. I'm inclined to agree with the Vea part. I miss Vita Vea. I miss Luke Gadecki. Weird that I'm saying that because I'm not a big fan of Gadecki, but I'd rather have him than Justin School on the line. I also miss, for what it's worth, Bryce Hall, rather. And Antoine Winfield Jr. is also still dealing with a foot injury.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, injuries this year league-wide have been way too numerous for my liking. Yeah, they've been... This is only week 4, and we have so many people out on the IR or questionable or out for the season.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
I'll say our starting defensive tackles are all out. We've already had to elevate 2 guys off the practice squad for 2 weeks in a row. The Eagles, their offensive line's one of the best. We don't generate pressure again. And it's going to be up to our banged-up secondary to stop one of the better mobile quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
And our offense,
Saquon Barkley.
And our offense, oh boy, well, we still got a bunch of our starting pieces, but if Justin School's back at tackle, we might get destroyed again. So on the side of caution, I'm choosing the Eagles, but I'm hoping not.
Right, of course. We hope for the Bucks for your sanity. But I'm also taking the Eagles. I think the Eagles are finally kind of like on that path now after getting kind of stunned a couple weeks ago. So hopefully they can put things together.
Who did they lose against in week 2?
It was something funny. I remember that. Let me take a look.
Atlanta. Oh yeah.
It was that stupid game where they decided to throw to Saquon.
Oh yeah. Thunk. Stone hands.
He didn't forget what it was like to be a giant, so.
Nope, he did not.
Old habits die hard.
But yeah, I'm choosing the Eagles just out of caution, and I hope that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Patriots, 49ers. 49ers, and we can move on.
Yep. Brock Purdy.
But Drazz took the 49ers. Another game I want to pick against a favorite, but he won't. Interesting.
Fair enough. Yep. Fair enough.
All right. Arizona at Washington. Drazz said the Cardinals will beat the Commanders. He has not lost faith in Arizona. Neither have I, but the Commanders have looked good. Or, as I like to call them, the commies, because, well, I don't have a reason. I just think it's funny.
I guess that's fair.
So, but the Commanders have looked good. Arizona has looked good. You're going to be looking at an offensive fireworks show.
Yeah, this is about to be a really good game.
This is going to be a fun game to watch. Terrible if you like defense, but a fun game to watch.
Right, which, I mean, defense is kind of my favorite side of the ball personally, so I'm not super looking forward to it, but at the same time, it's going to be really cool. So,
I'm going to choose Arizona. I just think Kyler Murray is a more experienced quarterback, but I think Jaden Daniels will finally, have his breakout game. He had one a little bit on Monday Night Football, but I think this will be the one where he really shows what he's capable of.
yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Washington wins it. I don't personally have a lot of faith in Arizona. I never really have. So I wouldn't be surprised if Washington
Hey,
does.
I gotta hold out
But
some.
again,
I gotta hold out some hope for Kyler Murray succeeding in the NFL. Boomer sooner.
that's fair. I've never really been a fan of his personally. No offense, but I've just never.
No, you're fine.
He wasn't my type of quarterback. So
Yeah, I got you. Like I'm a fan of. I'm more of a fan of pocket passing. Like
Mhm.
the reason why I like Kyler Murray is because he's making the short thing work. Like people call him the Arizona midget, so like he's called the Arizona midget for a very good reason, but he's making it work despite it. Plus, he's coming
I
off an
gotta say,
ACL
though,
injury, so
right, and I do wish the best for him, honestly. What I find funny is I was hearing all of the jokes about his height, and then I looked it up, and the dude was like 5'10". I'm like, that is not that short. Excuse me, that's like
yeah,
Doug Flutie status. He's
it's
not that bad.
he's not short, yes, but in NFL terms, the optimum height for a quarterback is like 6'3" or 6'4".
I mean, 6'4", I'm with you. Inside joke. Don't worry about it. But like I was surprised because to hear everybody talk, I thought he was like maybe 2 or 3 inches taller than I am. And no, he's,
He's about my
literally
height.
almost. Yeah, exactly. He's almost 6 feet. So he's not that bad off. He's just not my play style preference.
Then again, I think a 5'10" pocket passer would be terrible. Just look at Bryce Young.
There. And I think that's Carolina's biggest problem is they didn't scheme him for his specialty. They tried to scheme him for something that he isn't. Recipe for disaster.
All right, Chiefs Chargers. All right, Drazz took the Chiefs to beat the Chargers. I'm going to go completely against him. I'm going to have the Chargers give the Chiefs their first loss of the season. They got to lose at some point. I don't think they start 4-0.
That's fair.
I love what Jim
not-
Harbaugh is doing.
Yeah, I will agree with that. They're kind of like reestablishing from the trenches out, which I really appreciate. So I do like how he's building it.
Like, and even then, the passing game's not even that bad. Sure, Joe Burrow.
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's passing stats have been lower than average, but when you're about to go into a run-heavy offense, that's going to happen.
Well, not only that, but their wide receiver room kind of got stripped from the last regime that they had, so I'm not at all surprised.
But to
Like,
be
they
really
added some
fair,
pieces
both
in,
Mike
but-
Williams and Keenan Allen were extremely injury-prone, and Keenan Allen is getting up there in the tooth, or getting long in the tooth.
Right, yeah, I agree. And he decided to go to Chicago, so honestly, good for you.
He went to Chicago and gained some weight. We all seen that
Good
picture.
for you. Yeah, maybe he should just convert into a tight end. It's working for Travis Kelce with that body. So
I think the difference will be I think Keenan Allen would get more targets and catches.
because he actually shows up to work.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
Anyway, I'm not. Excuse me. His like quote unquote relationship is ruining his field
No, I'm saying
play.
sorry, John, because he has Kelsey on fantasy. Like,
Oh, fair. Sorry. I forgot about that. I was apologizing to John, like sort of because of the whole boyfriend thing, not because of fantasy. Because I do think that he'll be smart and actually start Cole Kmet, who I'm hoping I can play off of waivers because I kind of want him now.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right, after some quick fantasy advice, we got Browns versus Raiders. For God's sake, if
I
they
hate this
lose
game.
back-to-back games to the Carolina Panthers and the Browns, I'm losing all faith in the Raiders this season. I had them as a dark horse playoff contender.
Yeah, I did too, honestly, because I really like their coach, and I think bringing
Like,
them back was a really
like
smart
I
decision.
love Antonio Pierce. I love Gardner Minshew. I love Max Crosby. There's a
Yes.
lot of, well, for you it's minus Gardner Minshew, but there's a lot
We
of
we can
people.
give Max Crosby 2 points, and then we're even. Because yes,
But there's a lot of people on that team that are extremely likable and fun, and I want to see them win.
yeah.
I have the Raiders winning this, and Drazz, to my shock, not to my shock, picked the Browns.
You know what? When
Gave
I
no
was
reasoning.
writing my picks, yeah, when I was doing all my picks this morning, this was the last game that I picked because I just could not. I can see it going either way, but I decided to let spite rule, and I'm going with the Raiders because one, spite, two, they're at home. But if they lose, Pierce was saying that we might make a QB change,
Yeah, and they would be bringing in AOC if that happened.
which I'm for because I liked him last year and I don't like Minshew. So in a way, if they lose, I'm fine.
I'm
But
sorry,
I took
Joy, but AOC is a poor man's Derek Carr. I'm sorry to say.
I like Derek Carr too. So maybe I have a type. I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe. But
you
then
gotta
again, I shouldn't be saying that
you
because
got a
every
thing for
time,
QBs that like wearing eyeliner apparently.
which is weird because the one that wears literal fingernail polish, I just don't. But
I'm
you know,
like I'm being serious. Derek Carr looks like he wears eyeliner half the time. I don't know how.
oh, I know, I know. I've seen it. I've seen the photos. He does kind of have like that weird brooding vibe, like that emo teenager in high school that
We've
you
all
will
seen
always
that.
avoid.
We've all seen that picture.
Yeah, I was here for it though. The brooding vibe was very good, and it fit the Raiders' attitude perfectly.
It did.
So I was for it. But
The
yeah, I'm
Raiders
taking the
weren't.
Raiders anyway. Yeah, stupidly enough, my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah. All right, Bills at the Ravens. I have complete and total faith in Josh Allen. I have no faith in Lamar Jackson.
Mm,
Simply put.
that's fair. Yeah, I don't like Lamar Jackson either, but I
Like, I want Derrick
this
Henry to
game.
run loose. I do.
Yes.
I want him to
Yes.
be fantastic.
Hmm.
But do I trust Lamar Jackson to make the throws he needs to do to win the game on the line against the Bills, who by themselves just shut down the Dolphins? Skylar Thompson was starting, I know this, but they shut down Tyreek
Right.
Hill and Jalen Waddle and um, who's that running back? Devon
HN?
Achane. If they shut down that offense, I think they can shut down the Walmart receiver room that they have.
Walmart receiver. I like that. That's funny. I like Isaiah Likely though. I really want them to get him
Yeah, no.
involved
Isaiah
more.
Likely and Mark Andrews, I love their tight ends, but that's about all they have that's useful.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm looking at the Bills previous weeks. The teams that they faced have not exactly been
Yeah, no, they haven't
fantastic.
been top tier, but Drazz did choose the Bills to beat the Ravens. He's just asking the question: Josh Allen for MVP?
You know what? Probably with what he's got to work with.
I'm completely fine with Josh Allen getting MVP as long as it's not Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson getting it again. Him winning MVP over Christian McCaffrey. Like I know there's a bias toward QBs, but
Hmm.
Lamar, you barely threw over the league average for passing yards, but you ran for about 800, so everybody thought you were the best thing on earth.
Well, I mean, when you're your team's leading rusher and the only one that throws, it kind of makes sense. Because if you took him out of the equation, that's the whole point of an MVP, he is the most valuable player on that team. And if you took him out of the equation, they wouldn't really do anything.
Well, I mean,
Where
you got to admit most
CMC,
of what CMC did with San Francisco warranted that. Like he
I would
led them
tend
in
to agree.
rushing. He was one of their top receiving targets.
Hmm.
He easily ran over pretty much everybody they came across, and he
I would
scored
tend to
a
agree.
lot of he scored in almost every single game that year, consecutively.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not dissing CMC. He's one of my favorites
Mm.
for a variety of reasons. So I'm not dissing him at all. I can understand why they leaned more towards Lamar Jackson for the definition of MVP. I do understand that.
Like, yeah, I'd be fine with Josh Allen winning MVP. I'd be fine with non-quarterback winning MVP, whoever that is. Derrick Henry, if he somehow explodes, has a career
There's
renaissance, that'll be very fun.
there's no way. I love King Henry. He is probably my favorite player, period. Well, position player. Um, but I don't think that he's going to have some kind of like resurging career there. There's too many other things taking the ball out of his hands for him to have that kind of success.
Yeah. Part of me wonders what he
But
would
that
have been. Part of me wonders what he would have been like if he went to the Chargers with that offensive line they have right now. How fun that would be instead of J.K. Dobbins.
that that would be that would have been wild.
Nope, but we went to pretty much everybody's projection for that free agent signing,
Yeah,
including my own.
sadly. Yeah. I'm just happy he didn't go to Dallas.
Yeah, same here. Then I would have been forced to hate him. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have been forced to hate him. I just would have hated the situation.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm
But
taking the Bills.
I'm I'm disagreeing with you too. I'm taking the Ravens because they're at home, and I think that they need to keep stacking the momentum if they want to, much like Cincinnati, have a chance to get in the playoffs. So they need to kind of keep going.
All right. All right, we got Titans at Dolphins. Mailman has looked terrible.
Yeah, he's beginning to molt. I don't like it.
But the Dolphins lost Tua for a long while, and I believe Skylar
Right.
Thompson had a rib injury. So that means they have Tim Boyle at QB.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to Titans here. They got a far better defense than the Dolphins, and I think they shut down Tim Boyle effectively. And Will Levis finally decides not to chuck the ball randomly. Drazz
If
agrees
Will
with that
Levis,
sentiment.
if Will Levis would just listen to me for a change and give the
From
ball to
beyond the
Tony
plane
Pollard.
of existence.
Yes, yes. Well, every game, every week, I've been begging him to just not be bad. And every week he's told me no. So,
We
so
already
I'm
have
also
3
taking the team.
pristine meme pictures of him.
I know. I'm so sad about that. And I was able to actually use them in my own content, and I hated it. I hated having to do that because, like, I mean, you know the backstory to it. I want to like Will Levis. He's not letting me.
Maybe that's a sign.
Maybe, but stop rejecting. Just
Love me.
Yes, exactly. The SpongeBob meme that we talked about earlier. Just get back here and love me. Um, but yeah, I'm taking Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
Just because of all the injuries and just hand the ball off to Tony Pollard and just let him do some things, establish that early, and let your defense handle the rest.
Yeah. And for our last game of the week, we are finally down to 14 games instead of 16. Sad. We have
Hallelujah.
the Seahawks at the Lions. We have the annual Soul Link Bowl, as it seems.
Yeah, they love putting these two teams together because there's always some kind of BS shenanigans that happens every
Well,
single year.
Drazz think that's going to happen. He has the Seahawks over the Lions. Goff hasn't been as solid as I hoped. Geno has looked good.
Eh.
Do I tap into my Michigan roots here? Or do I do sensible picking? I'm tapping into Michigan. I'm going to go with the Lions here. I like what the Seahawks are doing, but they've kind of dodged a few bullets in their 3-0 start.
Yeah, I will say that for sure. I think if Seattle can like curb the mistakes early and have a good first possession, then it's going to be danger for Detroit.
Tampa proved it's not going to. Tampa proved that Detroit is beatable. It's just in a very specific way.
Right, like
Detroit
Detroit has
weird
to,
game.
Right, you have to have a very weird approach when you take on Detroit because, quite frankly, with Detroit, you don't really know what you're going to get from game to game because of Coach Dan and how unpredictable he is. But my problem is he is so unpredictable that it kind of becomes predictable.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's 4th and inches on our own 30. We're going for it, right? We're totally going for it. Or
Psych punts the ball.
Right, or it's 4th and 10 on our own 20. We're definitely punting. Psych, I'm gonna have Jack Fox throw an absolute beautiful spiral. And that was one of the best passes I've seen in weeks. That was great. But yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of still in that anxiety field with Detroit, and I always will be. But
yeah,
I'm being a homer.
I will
I'm
say Aaron Glenn has that's probably the biggest mistake the Lions did this offseason was keeping him around. That was probably the biggest mistake.
I heard you say that before too.
And I'll preach it to the moon. Like your guys' secondary has looked terrible besides Joseph Kirby having a lot of picks, or Kirby Joseph rather.
Yeah, Kirby Joseph is good. I like Alex Anzalone. He's
I like Anzalone. Like now that he's not with New Orleans, I'm fine with him.
Mm-hmm. I know that Terrion Arnold is getting a lot of hate because he doesn't have the rookie interception luck, but he's really tight on coverage. He played Marvin Harrison Jr. brilliantly, I thought.
Personally, I would have taken Kool-Aid McKinstry, but
well, I would have for the namesake alone.
Yeah, like that. Like that's my Madden approach. If I see a generated player with a cool name, I'm taking him. I don't care if he's like a undrafted free agent projected.
Right. Now, out of curiosity though, how is Kool-Aid doing?
Good question. ESPN, help me out here, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
He has 5 solo tackles and 1 pass defended.
Okay.
And that was all. And that was in the first 2 games of the season.
Okay, so he didn't do pretty much jack.
He's not doing much. He's slotting in, and that's about it.
Right. So, I guess maybe this is just my defense mechanism for my team coming into play, but, everybody kind of dragging Terrion Arnold down and comparing him to other players when he's seeing the field a lot more.
Hey, he's not Jeff Okuda. That's a positive.
You know what? Fair. that's a fair point. So already an upgrade. They're already doing good on that front. And on the Aaron Glenn side, I think that he fits the culture, and he was a culture
culture
retain.
move.
Right. Like they were building from the inside up and from the top down. And I think that if you were to jostle pieces,
then the whole thing comes crashing.
Right. So we have to make sure that the structure is solid. And people the team seems to like him, and they're doing okay. I mean, Hutch is playing his butt off this year so far.
Yep,
it's just they have
4.5 sacks against us.
And he still didn't get Defensive Player of the Week.
He didn't.
Excuse me.
That was sad.
They gave it to the Falcons cornerback because they beat Philadelphia. Excuse me.
AJ Terrell?
I think.
Was
Unless it was the other guy. Maybe it was. Do they still have Jesse Bates?
They still have Jesse Bates.
It could have been him. I don't know. All I know is I seen the Falcons jersey, and I'm like, okay, so because they surprised Philadelphia, he gets it. Aiden Hutchinson, losing effort, great on the field, doesn't get it. Understood. Great. Love it.
Right.
But anyway,
yeah.
I'm being a homer, so.
Yeah. That is the end of the Pick-ems. So, that brings us right into the news. All right, I have to have some silence so I can put it in, but
Yeah, no, I just imagined the breaking news banner. Yeah.
That's actually from a SpongeBob bit.
I love it.
The freeform jazz bit.
Yeah.
But we got some news to go over, starting with the NFL. First thing is first, as always. Sources. Teams interested in Bryce Young trade with the Panthers. I have no idea why.
Well, if you're Miami, it makes a lot of sense because you ain't got nobody.
The man was jumping while he was throwing, trying to see over the offensive line.
That's fair. But earlier, we were just praising Kyler Murray for making the short man thing work.
Well, he can make it work because he's mobile. He can run. That's how he made it work.
Right. But
he can improvise.
Who's to say that Bryce Young can't be that if he's on a good situation? Baker Mayfield actually talked about that.
Yeah, I know. Baker Mayfield, I'm pretty sure him and Sam Darnold had things to say.
Yeah. Classic Baker being the good guy.
Yeah.
But it has to be a good fit.
Anyways, I'm not seeing anything on here to suggest who would trade for him. But they do say this. Young, who was benched Monday in favor of Dalton, has struggled and not looked like a quarterback drafted number 1 overall, but he still has some value in return he still has some expected return to some trade value in Carolina, albeit for short of what the Panthers traded for the Chicago Bears last year to move up to number 1. Let's see, what else?
Stupid decision.
The Panthers are 2-16 with Young as their starter, which is the worst record through 18 games of any quarterback selected at the top of the Super Bowl era. Young said Thursday he was surprised to be benched, but acknowledged there was a long list of things that I wish I did better in. Let's see. And there's nothing left to say on who could possibly trade for him, so it was just general inquiries, I suppose.
Yeah. I heard a rumor for some of the teams. Stupidly, the Giants were part of it, which was no.
Hey, I'd love to see Danny Dimes on the Panthers.
Well, no, not that they were going to move. That'd be hilarious if they just even swap. It would be a very Giants thing to do, to be fair.
Ow.
What?
I popped my neck.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard that. I'm like, what? Oof. Are you okay? Are we dying again?
No, this time the snap happened, and that's something I intended. Okay.
Okay, good. Good. We don't need any more.
I don't need to split. I don't need to have my ankle fold from under me again.
Yes, please no.
To those who don't know, I actually did. I sprained my ankle pretty bad after the last week's podcast.
Right. Yeah.
I was walking in my band room, and then whoa. Sprained my ankle. I got taken in an ambulance and then put in the ER for a sprained ankle.
What a fun night.
Well, I'm saying more the fact that I'm embarrassed it was a sprained ankle and I didn't like dislocate something that actually required immediate attention.
Right, yeah. Like, you couldn't break it or something? Like, it had to be a sprain, and that's why
Yeah,
we're
like,
here?
when in terms of ankle injuries, everybody looks at a sprain and is like, oh, shut up, you can walk. No, you can't.
Right.
But, this is just breaking 6 hours ago. Source: Raiders are sticking with Gardner Minshew as their quarterback.
For now.
For now. Gardner Minshew will remain the Las Vegas Raiders starting quarterback for the team's home game Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, a team source confirmed Tuesday. Nothing was ever pondered, the source said, regarding the potential switch. The news was first reported by NFL Network. This comes the day after Raiders coach Antonio Pierce was non-committal on Minshew remaining the starter in the wake of Aiden O'Connell coming off the bench to lead Las Vegas to a late touchdown drive in its 26-22 loss against the Carolina Panthers. Honestly, you could just chalk that up to the fact that the Panthers weren't even trying, were just putting in backups, and the Raiders were doing the same.
I mean, fair, yeah. But, I mean, I don't know, because the running joke there is the Panthers, like, first team is kind of on par with the backups of most. So,
Well, I mean, if Andy Dalton made it work, I think it was a Bryce Young problem.
yeah, I mean, they have a lot of other problems, but Andy Dalton kind of has the experience edge to get them to actually do what they're supposed to do, where Bryce Young didn't. But on the Raiders front, again, like I said earlier, I do hope that they lose and then make the switch, but I don't know. I'm sad for Antonio Pierce. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's completely fair. All right,
Yeah.
next bit of news. The Steelers put Troy Fautanu on injured reserve due to the knee injury. If you didn't know, Troy Fautanu was drafted by the Steelers. He was a very good tackle prospect. I liked him. I think he was like the 5th best tackle. He was drafted in the 2nd round, I believe. 1st round pick. I'm an idiot. All right, he was drafted late in the 1st round, but just I don't like seeing rookies that I like going down, so I just highlighted this just because it was somebody I was looking at, as a potential starter in the league. And he went to IR because I think he sprained his ACL, if I had to believe.
All right, well, that's definitely a blow. For me, I don't really like seeing rookies in general go down in their first year. I think that's, it's very disheartening, and it's, bad for morale going forward because you're so hyped, you're finally getting to play, and then all of a sudden it's cut. So
Yeah, that is completely fair, to be completely honest. Like, again, I have reservations if it's a player I don't particularly like, but it's still a rookie. Like, you can't be
exactly. Like, I try to take my dislike for the team that they're on or where they came from out of it, and it's like, this man worked, his whole life to get here, and it got snapped away in his rookie season.
Yeah. Thankfully, he should be good to go. It's just going to be at least 4 games, so I hope he'll be good to go soon.
Yeah.
All right, and this broke this afternoon as I was talking to my history professor. Brett Favre has revealed that he has Parkinson's.
Yeah, I was seeing that. He was telling Congress during his welfare fraud thing that he has Parkinson's.
Yeah, I don't know whether he was I want to believe Favre. I don't know whether he's I believe Favre actually. Like, as far as his illness is concerned, I don't think he'd be making that up. Like, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt as far as the
I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
But the evidence is kind of damning anyways.
Right. My thing on that, and I might get hate for this part of it, but prove it. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with him and everything that he's done.
And that's completely fair. Prove it. That's a completely fair assumption. What happened and what is accused of what has happened, I don't know whether he was taken advantage of or he was in on it. I legitimately don't know.
Yeah. I
As someone who's not kept up with it, I just know it was a welfare fraud thing. I know that much about it. I
right,
also
yeah,
know it was. I also know that money was used to build a tennis court or something at Southern Miss. But that's all I know
right,
about it. Like I don't know Brett Favre's involvement. I'll look into this later and see it for myself. But
right. Personally,
um,
I am not at all surprised if he did do it. He always appeared to me to be the type um who would. And then on the illness thing, that's where I'm like, okay, prove it. Because I feel like it was a I can't pay back the money because blah, rather
well, I
than
mean, this had nothing to do with him like saying I'm gotta pay back the money. This was him like revealing, like I'll read it. I'll read it to you. He disclosed during the congressional hearing on Tuesday that he was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's. Appearing before a House Ways and Means Committee hearing on welfare reform, Favre spoke about Prevacus, a company making a concussion drug that received $2 million of temporary assistance for needy family funds. Favre was the top investor in Prevacus, and text messages show he began asking state officials for help securing funds for the company in 2018. Sadly, I also
right.
lost an investment in a company I believe was developing a breakthrough concussion drug I thought could help others, and I'm sure you'll understand why it's too late for me, because I've recently been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Right. I mean, and look, and if that is the case, again, you hate to see it, regardless of your
Mm-hmm.
feelings on the guy. Again, I am still on the side of prove it because the timing of saying it was kind of what was weird to me. Like he didn't come out with a statement like when Bruce Willis's family came out with it when he's dealing with his issues. It wasn't some kind of official statement from that. It was said while he was being questioned by the government, and that was just kind of like
Yeah,
it's a little bit of strange timing. But again, I do wish you the best.
I agree. Like, um, I'm trying to. He's listed as a defendant in here, and he has denied wrongdoing and has not been criminally charged. Prevacus's founder was the seventh person to plead guilty for their involvement in the welfare case. And Favre called for more federal oversight of TAN funds. The NFL legend said that welfare scandal has upended his life. And then text messages in 2017 show Favre asked whether or not there's any way the media can find out where the money came from and how much. He also asked, will the public perception be that I became a spokesperson for various state-funded shelters, schools, homes, etc., and was compensated with state money? Or can we keep this confidential? So,
So yeah, I mean there's a lot of stuff to unpack there.
it's a lot of stuff to
This is
unpack and stuff we're not really qualified to analyze. But,
right. This is a football sports thing. Like I do
yeah.
mostly on the field stuff,
But
but like eh,
the main news is just that Favre revealed he has Parkinson's, which is never a good thing. So,
right.
eventually it's just going to get worse and worse. It's Alzheimer's, but I don't it's like Alzheimer's, it's like degenerative brain disease, but it works in a different way. Instead of just crippling your memory, it cripples your motor functions.
Right. I mean, you can live with it and survive with it.
Like,
I think Michael J. Fox has that, and he's been a champion
yeah,
for the
and
disease.
I don't know how you felt about him if you lived through him, but George H.W. he got Parkinson's and he lived up until he was 90, I believe,
Yeah, and he was still skydiving at like 98 or something. So yeah,
which is a brilliant picture, by the way.
yeah, it's so good.
All right, so that is the last of NFL stuff. We are moving on.
Lowest thing to end on.
Yeah, we're not ending on that. We got more. We got more to
No,
cover, thankfully.
no.
On to college. The new AP poll was released today. Your normal stuff. Texas Longhorns at 1, bleh. Georgia at 2, Ohio State Buckeyes and the propaganda wing have them at 3. Crimson Tide's 4, Tennessee's 5 after beating the crap out of Oklahoma. Ow. Ole Miss at 6, Miami at 7, Oregon Ducks at 8, Penn State, Utah, Missouri. Michigan's back in almost to the top 10 after they skated by USC, thankfully.
That was a good game though.
I
I actually
can't
did catch some of that.
like I can't stand Lincoln Riley. The man is a sellout. Like,
I
ugh.
know. I know your feelings on it.
moving on, USC, screw you. Number 14, LSU, Louisville. Notre Dame, why are you still here? They should have been dropped out after what happened in Northern Illinois.
Yeah, that was.
Like, I'm sorry.
I
I
vaguely
know they
remember
came
that. It
back.
was
I know they came
embarrassing.
back and blasted a couple new opponents, but they have to be out of here.
I don't know. I mean, the way college works is so weird to me. That's why I don't really follow it quite as much. Because
Like,
if you deserve to be out, you should be out, and it shouldn't just be because you are the
like
school.
you're a name brand school.
Right. So we have to keep you in
Like-
because I like money.
Thankfully,
Like,
the AP
it's-
poll stuff. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Thankfully, the AP poll stuff nowadays is kind of relegated to like the wild cards of the playoff, but that's about it.
Mhm.
Anyways, Clemson, I don't like they're still here. Iowa State, Illinois is 19. They're 4-0. And they did it by beating Nebraska.
Okay, that's nice.
All right, number 20, Oklahoma State Cheaters. I mean, Cowboys. I just look at that logo and my heart sinks. Oh, the government green that Mike Gundy stuck in the ref's pockets during the last Bedlam. I'm sad. Number
Yeah, I still look at
21, number 21, OU. I have no idea how we're still ranked, but I'll take it. 22 is BYU, actually. I do like their quarterback for the sole reason that this is a Jewish guy at a Mormon college. I just find that funny. As far as,
That is
how those religions would
interesting.
clash.
right. That is pretty interesting, I will say.
I'm here for it. I love it when you see like a player that's like, oh, who is he? Then it shows like his beliefs and everything. It's like the exact opposite of what the school stands for.
Right. Yeah.
I love
It's
not controversy. I love what's the word I'm looking for?
clashes.
Contradictions. There we go.
Yeah.
I love contradictions. I love them, especially if it's like a school like BYU or Notre Dame. Like seeing a player in there that's like the exact opposite of what the school believes in. It's kind of funny to me.
Yeah. You know what I think would be even funnier
Hmm.
is having a QB that they bring in through the like transfer portal or recruitment or whatever, who doesn't believe in anything, but they bring him in just because he can play.
That sounds
So
about right.
we need an atheist QB at a Christian college that will take them to the championship just because.
That'll be funny, to be completely fair.
It would be.
Like, as a Catholic, that'll be funny to watch.
Yeah.
Like, well, your starting QB won you a championship, but at what cost?
Right.
What
Well,
cost to
I
your
think of
message?
I think of it like every single week, everyone's going to be trying to convert him in, and he's just like, no,
He's just stoic.
every single time. Yeah, it's just as stoic, the silent treatment, Marshawn Lynch, I'm only here so I don't get fined. And then he wins. That's all we want.
All right, well, 23 is Kansas State, 24 is Texas A&M, and Boise State is back in ranking, so about standard for what you expect out of the last 5 rankings. A bunch of group of 5 schools, and that's about it. I want to see so badly. I want to see one of these group of 5 schools make it to the playoff and make it all the way.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's Boise State, and I still have reservation for them after what they did to OU multiple times in their history. Frickin' Statue of Liberty play. And then the fake Statue of Liberty play.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, they're fun if you don't fall for it. Well,
No, I mean it's fun. It's fun to see.
All right, it is. I'll agree. All right. Next, Utah State accepted an invitation to become the 7th member of the Pac-12. Now, I said earlier, what happened to the Pac-12? They had 10 schools poached from them. during realignment last year.
Which just seems strange.
Yeah, the problem is that 4 of them went to the Big Ten. The rest of them went to the Pac-12. Not Pac-12, went to the ACC, which stands for the Atlantic Coastal Conference. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so geographically minded with conferences. Seeing Stanford in the ACC bugs me.
Yeah. I can understand that. It is really weird.
Ugh. It bothers me. Like, I'm a perfectionist and slightly OCD. Like,
Right. Now, I do have a quick question though, speaking of the OCD, and as somebody who doesn't like super follow college, you said that they were becoming the 7th school?
and it's gonna be uneven. Yep.
Well, no, not only that, but why is it called the Pac-12
Well, I
if
mean,
there's not 12?
Like, why is the Big Ten called the Big Ten even though they don't have 10 schools?
Exactly.
Why is the Big 12 called the
Same
Big 12 if
question.
if they don't have 12 schools? We had 14
Same
before
question.
realignment.
Same question. This is why I can't really get into college, because I'm more of a numbers person, and the math ain't mathing. So I was just wondering why.
I'll say I hate math, so
Fair.
I don't gauge too much in numbers. I just hate math, and it bugs me when I see that simple numbers don't line up.
Right. Well, right, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, it's a basic. You're called the Pac-12 conference, but you've only got 7 teams. 1, that's uneven. That doesn't make any sense. 2, it doesn't fit your namesake. What are we doing? I was always confused by that.
Yeah. All right. Next up, just some OU news, and it's confirmed. Oklahoma to evaluate QBs after Jackson Arnold was benched. News has come out. We are starting Michael Hawkins Jr. for the game against Auburn. I'm completely fine with this after what Tennessee just did to us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe the Raiders should take a page out of that book.
All right. And moving right along to baseball. This will be our one baseball story of the day. Tarek Skubal wins 18th game as the Tigers continue the playoff push. We are 4 games back from securing one. We can still keep going if the Minnesota Twins and the I almost called them the Chiefs, the Royals continue to lose. I am completely fine with this. If the Tigers make the playoffs, the next urinating tree video he makes that talks about the MLB's hater guide will be the funniest thing on earth, because he will be just like the rest of us, surprised that the Tigers even got here after the May and June we've had.
Exactly. Like, early on, there was no hope, like, at all. I had 0 interest, 0 hope. I have minimal interest now, because, again, I'm not like a huge baseball fan since Cabrera retired. But
we miss you, buddy.
We really do. Although he's still with the organization.
He's still with the organization. I just wish he was on the field.
Me too.
As unfortunate as his health was.
Right. I still need to get me a 24 shirt.
Yeah, no, I keep every time I get paid, I'm like, okay, now I'll get a Miguel Cabrera jersey. Nope.
Yep, same. And then stuff just keeps coming up, and I never can, and it's like, well, he's retired, so my time's kind of passed.
Well, I mean, even then, you can order a custom jersey or something. They can have Cabrera on the back. So.
Yeah, that's true.
What I want to get is the City Connect jersey, a Cabrera City Connect jersey. That would be fun to have.
Yeah, that would.
As weird as the designs are, but.
But hey, it's for Cabrera, so it's worth.
It is. All right, we have a few more things to get through, so bear with me here. And bear with me, everybody on OBS, because I got to swap the thing. We got scores to go over. It's obligatory here. Tennessee beat Oklahoma by 10 points. We benched Jackson Arnold for Michael Hawkins Jr. And Michael Hawkins Jr. threw a touchdown. But he also fumbled twice.
Oops.
So we were completely screwed we are completely screwed throwing the ball. I hope Michael Hawkins Jr. can put some spark in our offense. We need it. And I actually have no ill will for Tennessee. Beat Alabama, please. We're all begging you. Oh, and if you somehow make it to the college football playoff, beat Ohio State if Michigan hasn't done it already.
I'm pretty sure Michigan will have that one covered.
All right, next up. Duke won against the... Duke wants... What? Take your time. It's not a race. Duke beat Middle Tennessee by a score of 45-17. The running joke for the past 3 weeks, they have scored nothing but 26 points in the past 3 games.
And then they had to ruin it.
And then they had to ruin it, but in the good way.
Right.
And Star Thomas, again, former New Mexico State alumni, he transferred out to Duke. He ran for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he's been running pretty good for the Blue Devils.
All right, not bad.
Not bad at all. All right. This is not a basketball score, by the way. James Madison beat North Carolina by a score of 70-50. Not basketball.
Jeez. How many overtimes was that? Was it just
0.
regulation? Holy crap.
It was just JMU. It was just JMU. According to the box score, 25 points in the first quarter, 28 in the second, and then 7 in the third and 10 in the fourth. By the second quarter, UNC had 21 points. So JMU just basically took their foot off the pedal.
Which is kind of sad as somebody who
We want to
tries
see
to.
we want to see 100-point games in college football. Please.
Those are always really fun. But
No, like
at the same
one team
time,
has 1-0-0.
Right.
Not a combined.
Right, yeah, exactly. I follow. My only problem with that is I tend to start feeling bad for the other guy if
If
it
it's
gets out of
if it's
hand,
like
and
a beatdown.
right. Now I love a good beatdown, don't get me wrong, but also this is
Yeah.
again why I don't really super get into college because there's such a mismatch.
Yeah.
Like
Can
we'll
this
have
happen to Ohio State, please?
the problem is it would probably be Ohio State beating up on some MAC school because that's what happens.
That's what happened twice this season already. They did it with Akron after not figuring out how to play football for a half. And then I think they played was it Miami? Yeah, I think it was Miami. Well, Miami, Ohio, not you. You know, Ben Roethlisberger, not what's the name? I'm trying to think. The running back, Frank Gore.
Oh, okay. I was going a different.
I was trying to think I was trying to think Frank Gore, not the other guy that busted his knee in a national championship game. Can't think of his name. Either way, interesting game. I wish more of these would happen.
Yeah.
We had another FCS over FBS upset. Monmouth, who I believe is Ivy League, beat Florida International by a field goal.
Wow.
45-42. Again, I just like highlighting FCS over FBS losses because, again, FCS is that lower division of college football that plays only to get paid. When they win it, it's a fun win.
Right.
Just don't ask Michigan. Just don't ask Michigan about it. I think they're still sour about 2007.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. And the last bit of news we have: Florida State won a game finally by a grand total of 5 points. The score was
Congratulations, you did it.
The score was 14-9, and Cal led up until the fourth quarter. FSU had only 2 touchdowns on the game, and that was it. Honestly, this was just embarrassing for Cal because they could have went 4-0. but
Yeah.
we can't have anything good in this world. We can't keep laughing at Florida State. So, congratulations, FSU. You won a game. DJ UCLA still sucks. We tried to tell you this. All right. And that is about it. However, as per usual, I would like to give every single one of you some certified SDS predictions for this coming college football week. Whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. If I'm right, I say I'm a genius. If I'm wrong, I can just say I was shitting around. We good? Perfect. Rutgers will defeat Washington. Michigan will beat Minnesota. Kansas State will beat Oklahoma State. Baylor will beat BYU. Northern Illinois will upset North Carolina State. Holy Cross will get a win over Syracuse for a FCS upset. Wisconsin will beat USC. Notre Dame will win against Auburn. Or Louisville, sorry. Oklahoma will beat the crap out of Auburn. UMass will beat Miami. Somehow, some way. UCF will upset Colorado. UNLV will continue rolling and win against Fresno State. Akron will beat Ohio. Duke will win against North Carolina. Mississippi State will make it close against Texas. UT Martin will win against Kennesaw State. Michigan State will beat Ohio State. Totally not biased, remember? I'm making predictions. Stanford will beat Clemson. UL Monroe will beat Troy. Alabama will lose to Georgia. Illinois will beat number 9 Penn State. South Alabama will upset LSU. New Mexico State will win the Battle of the Bell and beat New Mexico. And then finally, UCLA will upset Oregon. That being said, that is it for this episode of Battle for the Bay. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Click the bell to get notifications when I upload. Once again, special thanks to Joy for helping me out this episode and filling in for Drazz as he gets well. Her channel will be in the description as per usual. And maybe soon you'll guys see a new series we're doing. We won't spill what that series is, but I think we both will agree that you may enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be the complete and total opposite of things we've done prior. So, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you guys next week. See y'all.
Yep. Get well soon, Drazz.